So Alabama just signed a kicker who hails from Ireland. Does that mean our luck in the kicking game is about to change? Let's tighten up. Hey everybody, welcome into Tight on the Tide. I'm your host Wayne Mason. How important is the kicking game? Well, I dare say it's important enough that Pat McAfee is willing to throw down at least upwards of $500,000 of his own dollars every Saturday in in the fall just to prove how stressful it can be. I know that it's not something that I would ever desire that kind of stress and pressure put on me ever in my life, to be that one guy that for years and even decades to come that people can point to and say, "Oh yeah, remember when you missed that kick that cost us the game, that cost us the season, that cost." Nah, I sorry, that's not for me. Now, granted, when I was young, when I was just a wee lad, my brother and I out in the backyard, we turned our backyard tree into our imaginary field goal, and we were trying to see who could kick the most in that, pretending like it was the waning seconds of a game, and we were winning the game. That's a whole different thing. Last season, we had games that we lost. That the main thing that you would hear, and I'm saying, people in general, well, if Talty had just made this kick or that kick, we would have won the game. Okay, that's a fair statement, sure. And that's his job. That's any kicker's job. Your job is to come in and you make a field, you kick the ball through the uprights and score the points. That is true. It is also true that the offense is supposed to drive the ball down the field and score at least a field goal or a touchdown every time, presumably they get the ball, correct? It's presumed that the defense is supposed to stop the other team's offense from matriculating the ball down the field and scoring every time they have the ball, and if possible, create a turnover and score off of that, right? So we put an incredible amount of pressure on these young men coming in and putting themselves out in the middle of, well, I will say hundreds of thousands, because not only is it the people there in the stadiums, but also you have everyone watching on the TV. So you have an untold amount of people eyes on you in that situation. I don't envy them at all. It's honestly something that if you're willing to put yourself in that situation, it kind of, I don't want to say what happened with Talty last season when he went off on snapper for a quote unquote high snap that Talty shanked horribly and decided, for whatever reason, at that moment in time, in front of the crowd there in the stadium as well as everyone on national TV to see, that he chose that moment right there to blow his gasket and go off on his snapper. I'm not saying that's okay. But on the other hand, I can understand where it's coming from. And all of us felt that pressure. Alabama has never truly been a team that has had an amazing kicking presence, let's say. I mean, yes, we did have Will Reichert, who broke records and was astonishing. We had Lee Tiffin, his dad Van Tiffin, Adam Griffith. Goodness gracious, Andy Griffith did not play He lived in Mayberry, but so we have had our moments throughout Alabama's history, but overall, it's always seemed to be a part of the 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 makeup of Alabama's teams that has been on the lowest ranking of the needs to be taken care of scheme. And Coach Nunez, a lot of people I think were calling for Coach DeBoer to out him after last season, but he's still there. He's building, and I think something that I'm excited about, and I'm excited to see. They did actually say, "Okay, let's see what we can do to fix this." And they went into the portal, and they got a young man, Lorcan Quinn, who hails from Donegal, Ireland, actually. But this young man, he's transferring in from Marshall, and at Marshall, as of last season, went 21 for 26, which is a good 80% of his on field goal attempts in his freshman season last year. And his long was 55 yards. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's Marshall. Who did they play? It doesn't matter. A football is a football in any stadium, and it's going to travel in any stadium. So from 40 to 49 yards, he was 5 for 5. And on kickoffs, this guy is putting at 80-plus yards, which means that on any given kickoff, unless told otherwise, it's a touchback, which means the other team doesn't really stand a chance of running that thing back on us. So, I think that's something to be excited about. Will he prove coming in from Marshall, coming to Alabama, that he can still have that same type of game coming in? And what's his mental toughness going to be? That's the other side of the coin, I think, that everybody when you're taking a look at the kicking game specifically. Now, we talk special teams, that's a whole other realm, because our special teams, well, that wasn't so spectacular last season either. I mean, we had some run backs that were just, honestly, it looked like the Warner League was somebody from the Warner League was out there trying to run around. Instead of running the ball north and south, it was every direction possible, trying to, I don't even know what. So there we have the lax coming in. We have we have Aubrey Walker coming in. We have the new I can't even remember the Tyler Henderson, who Alabama just brought in from Mississippi Junior College down in Mississippi, who they just brought in, who, I mean, albeit self-reportedly, runs a 4.3 40. I mean, you combine these guys, and then even possibly an E.J. Crowell coming in, even though he's coming in as a running back, the kind of speed and mobility this guy's got. I mean, why maybe not put him back there to receive, a punt or a kickoff and see what he can do, So we are definitely bringing in the speed, the power, the agility. So with the kicking game, what is the mindset? What is the mindset of Mr. Lorcan Quinn coming into this? Can he handle pressure? Because that's going to be a big one. Coming from Marshall to Alabama, your stadium size just doubled at minimum. You've got that many more people bearing down on you, expecting that you are going to come in and you're going to perform like you're supposed to. And I dare say go ask Connor Talty. Go talk to Connor and some of these other, previous kickers, and they'll tell you what it's like. But one thing that I heard last season, after the whole Connor Talty incident, when he went off on his snapper, Um, Jimmy Stein from Locked On Bama. And for those of you who have not checked out, please check out Luke Robinson and Jimmy Stein over on Locked On Bama. Go check them out and subscribe. Those guys are so awesome with what they do every day. But last year, Jimmy had an idea that I thought was just, and I don't know if they implemented it there at Alabama or not, but I thought this was such an amazing idea that at your practices, at the end of every practice, get your kicker, get him set up for field goals at different ranges, and get your entire team, every squad, the ones, the twos, everybody, gathered around him and just berating him. I'm going to go off on him. Do everything that you can within the realm of physically, physically, and have him kick in those situations. Because if he can master that, if a kicker can master nailing kicks with your own team who are supposed to like you and be for you, going off on you and bearing down on you, if you can do that, if you can really get good with that kind of pressure around you, it's going to carry over into game day. And a lot of people will say, well, take it in when they go on the road. I dare say your home crowd is actually more likely to be when it's going to be the toughest, because they're the ones that are expecting, the expectations are a lot higher. But I just, when Jimmy was talking about that, I thought, man, that is what a great idea. And so I don't know, like I said, I don't know if they implemented that or not. I know that a lot of the Bama guys do listen to Locked On Bama, so who knows? Maybe they did. But I'm excited. And I'm hoping that when Mr. Quinn comes on board, and we're going to see throughout the spring, as we do with everything else, what it's going to look like. But I'm excited to see, with the numbers that are coming out on this guy right now, what it's going to be. Let's get the kicking game. Let's get the kicking game up there with the level of everything else, and become a team that just nobody, that we can't say, oh, if they had just made that kick, we could have, So let's do it. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. I want to thank you for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It means the world to me. I hope that you all have a very wonderful, blessed rest of the day or the night, wherever you may be. And roll Tide, everybody.